too fast. Hey, if you're thinking to yourself, is it just me or has Emma aged like 10 years since her last video? It's because I have. As some of you may already know, me and my son James had a tummy bug last week, and it wasn't just like a 24-hour one. They stuck around for like 4 days. Rude. We've also been renovating the bathroom because it was like from the 80s and falling to bits. It had carpet, and it's also half term at the minute, so the kids are... So yeah, I've got a somewhat put together top half, but bottom half, joggers with paint. It's safe to say I have been feeling pretty burnt out. But hey, let's make a video out of it, because that's what us YouTubers do. So something that I noticed when I was feeling really ill and stressed out was that my creativity walked out the door. I mean, I was literally ready to throw in the towel with like all art. But then, as I started to feel better, I realised I didn't really want to do that. So may I present to you Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, I actually spoke about this already briefly in my first ever video. If you ever want to see what the importance is of practicing something, go and watch my first video. It was so bad. Anyway, this triangle. So what this demonstrates is, if you aren't doing the things at the bottom of the triangle, which are like the foundations, then you cannot achieve the things at the top. So when I was ill, the very foundation of this triangle was a mess. And so the whole thing collapsed, which is why creativity wasn't on the table. But what has any of this got to do with create this book? Well, to tie everything together, I am going to work on 3 different self-care related pages today. And while I'm doing so, we can have a little natter about a few different things we can do to avoid or recover from burnout and help us rekindle our creativity. So get yourself a cuppa and let's get started. Okay. Oh, I should have put some blooming bookmarks on the pages that I was gonna do. Create your survival kit. Draw items that you need to survive alone. So you could take that very literally and draw things like food, water, penknife, compass, but I'm gonna make this more of like a self-care package survival kit. So I'm not gonna work directly in the book, I'm gonna work on paper and then stick them in. And I'm gonna use calligraphy pens. They were recommended by Aaron Blaise, who is an artist that worked for Disney. And I'm gonna use alcohol markers, because I might as well get my money's worth out of these things, because I've been spending a lot. So I started off drawing the outlines in pencil, my dressing gown that I pretty much live in, and it's actually falling to bits, but I don't care, I'm keeping it. I find comedy and humour really help me chill. I drew an old style TV because 90s nostalgia brings me joy as well. They just seemed like better times, but they probably weren't. It's just because I was younger and I didn't know as much. I actually can't sleep without listening to Friends or Big Bang Theory through some headphones all night. If I still can't sleep because my mind is racing, something about having a bowl of cereal just makes it stop. I'm surprised I didn't draw this first, but of course, a cuppa. They say that tuning into your senses can help you feel more present, and a cup of tea definitely does that. It's hot to touch, the smell, the taste, watching the steam rise. Then I drew a sketchbook or a notepad. Sometimes you just need to get your ideas or your thoughts out onto paper. I sometimes feel overwhelmed by all the things that I need to do, but when I write it down, I realise that I can just do one thing at a time. I also love anything with pumpkins on it, or anything pumpkin spice. Autumn is my absolute favourite time of year. It's just so cosy and it brings that fresh, cool, crisp air after a long, hot summer. The changing seasons remind me that the world keeps on turning. Outside of my own little personal dramas, the changes almost force me to notice, like, oh, it's cold today. Oh yeah, there's a whole world out here outside of my brain and my phone screen. Then I drew some comfy shoes. I mean, why did anyone ever invent uncomfortable shoes? Lastly, fragrance. Again, awakening the senses and those feelings of nostalgia. Strawberry perfume reminds me of our wedding day because that's what I wore. And the smell of tea tree reminds me of the weeks leading up to it, as I was using every face wash going, trying to make sure that I didn't have a great big zit on my nose on the big day. The smell of a coffee shop after a long winter walk. I guess this is kind of also a gratitude list. These are all ordinary little comforts that I'm actually really grateful to have access to on a daily basis. I was really reminded of this when we went camping a couple of weeks ago. That makes you appreciate a lot of things, like heating and a loo. I just noticed that there's corn flour on my camera from last week. That stuff gets everywhere. I'll have to do. Next page, create a mascot. Now, I thought that this one would be a good one because whenever we're struggling with stuff, we could all use our very own cheerleader. Like a personal cheerleader mascot friend that's just always there, always knows the right things to say, always has a cup of tea to offer you, and a hug if you need it. I think she would look like something in between Kitty Corn and BB. Kind of a cat, kind of a bear. So I'm going to use the calligraphy pens again. I am going to use the Poscas and Sharpies. So this prompt really made me think about the movie IF, which stands for Imaginary Friends. When we went to see that, I remember thinking, oh, this looks like a cute little movie to take the kids to see. Oh my gosh, I was in tears. It's basically about how we lose our imagination and the connection that we have with ourselves as we grow up. So this character is actually, plot twist, myself, because we all need to be our own cheerleader sometimes. The only thing is, it would seem that if you combine a cat, a bear and myself, it strangely seems to result in something that resembles Meg Griffin from Family Guy. That wasn't intentional. Oh well, comedy was in my survival kit anyway, so maybe this character is really funny too. I feel like she needs a name though. What should we call her, guys? I wanted to draw like I used to as an imaginative kid. Art doesn't always have to be an extravagant, impressive masterpiece. Sometimes it can just be a weird Meg-looking cat, and that's okay. Right, next page. Cleaning, clean, cleaning, clean. There it is. Create cleanliness. Clean something messy or dirty around the house. Photograph the before and after. Now, I'm not going to photograph, I'm going to draw. And the reason why I've chosen this page is because I am a cleaner by trade, outside of all this. And it's honestly the most therapeutic job that I've ever had. I get to see lots of lovely people every day. It gets the body moving. It has like a grounding quality. It kind of makes you feel very present in the moment. And you really get that sense of accomplishment. And I would say that gardening actually has a similar effect. In fact, it's possibly even better because you're getting fresh air outside. And our garden was getting pretty messy. I know that's technically not a room, but artistic license. So me, Alan James, gave it a team power tidy yesterday. And bless James, he's only 6, but he's honestly like a little 40-year-old man. Whenever I'm having a cup of tea, he always asks for one as well. And he was a genuine help yesterday. He pulled out weeds, he trimmed the edges, he swept the path, and he especially enjoyed chopping down some very old sunflowers, which we should have chopped down a long time ago, but the birds enjoyed them. But it made me realise that I don't actually need to be doing so much for my kids anymore. And now they're in fact capable of helping me. And I mean, that would help a lot with burnout. So let's delegate, guys. Share the load. So since Moriah's prompt said take a photo, I wanted to make my paintings look a bit like Polaroids. So I used masking tape to hopefully reveal straight white lines, or maybe just ripped edges. I guess we'll find out. Now, the thing with the before and after is, they don't really show you the struggle in between. If only we could just click our fingers and bam, it's done. But the struggle is kind of the adventure, isn't it? Imagine a movie without any dilemmas for the main character to get through. If they just sat there chilling on a beach for 2 hours. The end. You'd probably want your money back. So I wanted to paint 4 pictures to really show the journey and the progress from start to finish. I was so close to drinking this paint water, thinking it was green tea. Once the paint was done, I carefully removed the tape. Thankfully, not too much damage. Some paint had seeped through, so I just fixed that with a Posca pen. Then I added the line work. I wanted the before shots to look really gloomy and messy to give that feeling of overwhelm we sometimes get before we start a task. Then, as I went along, I tried to make them a little bit brighter and a little bit neater. And I actually really like how these turned out with the Polaroid shape. I always enjoy using watercolours. They'll always be my fave. So I'm all done with these pages for today. I'm really happy with all 3 pages actually, even the Meg Griffin one. I think I especially enjoy the cleaning page because it actually encouraged me to get moving outside and spend some time with the boys. Our garden looks better too, so that was a win. If I'm ever feeling burnt out, I can take a look at my survival kit for some recovery ideas. I always love working on the Create This book. It encourages us to step outside of our comfort zone and exercise that imagination muscle. So which page was your favourite? I hope you found some of these burnout tips helpful. Let me know if you've got any tips as well, because I could always use more. I could always use more. And before I go, I also wanted to give a shout out to a fellow creator, Sin City Yeti, aka David, because he very kindly shared my video last week. And welcome to the channel, guys, anyone who came over from there. If you haven't watched one of his videos yet, do it now. He's like a creative ray of sunshine. Also, I need your help with something. You may have noticed that a lot of other YouTubers have like a really cool catchphrase when they start their videos. For example, Moriah Elizabeth's, "Hey, it's me. Look, it's on pickle." And I don't have a catchphrase. And at the minute, my intros are just kind of chaotic. If I just had a catchphrase, then I could just be like, "Hey, catchphrase." So a few themes, obviously art, cats, and cups of tea or coffee. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit the like, share or subscribe. Smooth. And if you are interested in any of the... If you want to buy the things that I used today, links, description. And thank you so much for watching, guys, and listening to me moan. I shall see you next Friday.